You are listening to The Vocal Technologist. Spoken tech for your ears.
Welcome back. I have to be completely honest with you. I am running on very little sleep today.
Oh, no.
Yeah. My smart fridge, and I'm using the term smart very loosely here,
Mm-hmm.
decided it was a great time to attempt a firmware update at 3 in the morning, and it failed. So now my ice maker is it's stuck in this infinite boot loop. It sounds like a muffled techno beat coming from my kitchen.
That is actually the perfect metaphor for modern engineering.
Right.
You just wanted ice, but what you got was a distributed systems failure in your own home. That's where we are now.
It's so true. We build these incredibly complex tools to manage complexity, but then the tools themselves become the problem.
And they just seem to get faster.
Exactly. I feel like half my job now is just managing the tools that are supposed to be managing my job. The whole framework of the hour thing, it used to be a joke, but now it just feels like a threat.
It's exhausting.
It is. So today, we're diving into that chaos. This is Tech Tuesdays on The Vocal Technologist, and we've got a ton to get through. We're talking about this vibe coding idea versus, actual engineering rigor.
The Rust rewrites. Everything is being rewritten in a Rust.
Oh, yeah. And the backseat driver problem in software design, and my personal favorite, why work estimation is basically a lie we all agree to tell each other.
It's a very useful economy-driving lie, but yes.
It is. We'll get to the politics of that. But I want to start with the buzzword that has just been everywhere this week. Vibe coding.
Vibe coding.
It sounds like something you do in Ibiza, but apparently it's how we build software now. This idea that with tools like VO, software is a living document. You're not writing code, you're just prompting. You vibe an app into existence. My question is this engineering or is it just slop?
I think it's a really dangerous mix of both. And we have to draw a line between, say, judgment and execution. There's this theory that neural networks, the LLMs, are basically engines of judgment. They're fantastic at fuzzy pattern matching, at understanding intent, making subjective calls. But traditional software, that is all about execution.
Right, it has to be deterministic. If I write a for loop, I need it to run the exact same way 10 million times. I don't need it to, feel the vibe of the loop.
Precisely. And that's where things get weird, when you try to mix the vibes of an LLM with the rigid logic of code. Look at Booth IQ. This was a fascinating story that just came out.
I saw this. They vibe coded their entire platform, right? Something like 150,000 lines of code with AI.
A huge project. But the really interesting part is the language they used.
It wasn't Python or JavaScript. It was Elixir.
Elixir.
Yeah.
Which is such a smart choice when you think about how an LLM works. It has a context window. It forgets things if the state is constantly changing all over the file.
Because Elixir is functional. It's immutable. So once a variable is set, it's set. The AI doesn't have to track X changing 10 times in the same function.
Exactly. In Python, you have X was 5, and then 10 lines later, X yields X plus 1, and the AI has to mentally keep track of that. In Elixir, the data just flows. It's terse. Yeah. It's much harder for the AI to get confused and hallucinate a state management bug.
Okay, so the language helped, but it wasn't perfect, right?
Yeah.
I heard the AI struggled with architecture.
It was worse than that. It kept writing defensive code.
What do you mean?
It would check for nulls and handle errors in a way that you absolutely have to do in, say, Java, but is totally unnecessary in Elixir. The AI was basically, it was traumatized by its training data.
That's hilarious. The AI has coding trauma, is projecting its past language insecurities onto this pristine Elixir code base.
It is, but they shipped it. And this connects directly to what Andres Karpathy's been talking about. He said his workflow now is something like 80% agent-driven.
And when I hear 80% agent-driven, I just hear, I only do 20% of the work. That sounds fantastic.
You'd think so, but he calls it the 80% problem because, yes, the AI removes the drudgery, it does the typing, but your job shifts from writing code to babysitting it.
Because you have to review every single line it spits out.
And reviewing code is so much harder than writing it. When you write it, you have the mental model in your head. When an AI writes it, you have to reverse engineer its logic. Karpathy said code review times are just ballooning.
I believe it. You're not looking for a syntax error. You're looking for a subtle conceptual error that looks perfectly fine until it hits one weird edge case.
Exactly. So we're trading typing time for reading time, and that reading time is way more mentally taxing. You're like a glorified editor for a very fast, very confident, but slightly drunk junior developer.
That is the perfect description.
And the industry is trying to fix this. Look at a tool called Cursor with their new Composer feature. They tackled what they call the diff problem.
Oh, this is why an LLM can write an entire essay but can't change the third word in the second sentence without rewriting the whole paragraph.
Yes, they just want to predict the next token, they flow forward. They are terrible at making a surgical edit on line 52. So Cursor trained their model on edit trajectories.
Trajectories.
Instead of just showing it the final code, they showed it millions of examples of how humans edit. The process of deleting, inserting, changing things. They taught it to be a copy editor, not just an author.
That makes a ton of sense. But even if it can edit perfectly, there's still the context problem. How does the AI know who I am in a giant company, or what I asked it 5 minutes ago?
Context is the holy grail. LinkedIn just published something on their agent lifecycle service that's all about this. They realized a stateless agent is useless.
Right, if you ask it to find engineers in SF and then you say, now London,
Yeah.
it might just give you tourist spots in London. It forgets the engineers part.
Exactly. So they built a persistence layer so the agent remembers the conversation. But even more importantly, it respects permissions. It knows you're an admin and I'm a guest, so it filters the results before the AI even sees the data.
That's critical. But let's talk about getting the agent out of the chat box. I keep seeing this acronym MCP, Model Context Protocol. What's the deal with that?
Think of it like a USB port for AI models. Right now, the AI is trapped in a text box. It can talk, but it can't, look at your calendar or query your database. It's isolated.
So MCP is a standard plug.
Exactly. A standard way for an AI to connect to other software. Monday.com is using it so their agent can pop up an actual interactive UI-like checkboxes and buttons right in the chat. We're moving from chat to a full interface.
That's way more useful. But if we're giving agents the ability to click buttons, does that mean we're letting them browse the web? That sounds like a disaster waiting to happen.
It is a disaster waiting to happen, and it's already happening. Chrome just rolled out Auto Browse for AI Pro users. The browser itself becomes the sandbox.
So you can tell it to plan a vacation to Hawaii, and it will literally go to Expedia and Airbnb and start clicking around.
Yep. It'll compare flights, find rentals, all of it.
But what happens when that agent clicks on a phishing link? Or a sketchy banner ad that says, download now?
That's the billion-dollar question. We're seeing tools like Fence pop up, which use standard web tech frames, content security policies, to basically put the agent in a digital padded room. It restricts what it can do and where it can go.
We're toddler-proofing the internet for our super intelligent AIs.
I love it.
We have to. Okay, so on one hand, we've got AI agents running wild in the cloud. But then there's this huge counter movement. For a decade, everything was move it to the cloud. Now, suddenly, everyone wants to run everything on their laptop again. What's driving this local-first rebellion?
It's privacy and cost. The cloud is expensive, and sending sensitive data to a third-party API is a non-starter for a lot of companies.
For sure. If you're a law firm, you can't just paste confidential client notes into an AI prompt.
Exactly. A great example is LogRocket. They built an HR triage system for handling sensitive employee reports. Instead of using a giant cloud model, it runs entirely on a laptop.
On a laptop? What kind of model are they using?
A tiny one. Well, 3 tiny ones. We're talking 90 million parameters, which in AI terms is microscopic. It runs on a normal CPU, no GPU needed, and processes a report in like 10 to 30 seconds.
And 0 API fees. And total privacy. That's huge.
And it's not just AI. It's infrastructure, too.
We have to talk about Rust.
Mm-hmm.
This week's rewritten in the Rust headline was Terso, which is a fork of SQLite.
And SQL is everywhere. It's on your phone, in your browser. It's the most deployed database in the world. But it's written in C.
And C is, let's just say it's like juggling chainsaws. It's fast, but one tiny mistake with memory management and you have a huge security vulnerability.
Right, buffer overflows, all that stuff.
So Terso is rewriting the core of it in Rust. And for anyone who doesn't know, Rust has this feature called the borrow checker. It's like a super strict librarian. It makes it impossible for 2 parts of your code to mess with the same piece of memory at the same time. If you write unsafe code, it just won't compile.
It's the seatbelt of programming languages. It forces you to be safe. And it's not just startups. WhatsApp just did this at a massive scale. This is the moment the Rust community has been waiting for. WhatsApp replaced 160,000 lines of C++ with only 90,000 lines of Rust.
Almost half the code.
For their media processing pipeline, handling images and videos, that's where all the nastiest security bugs live. They just eliminated entire classes of vulnerabilities for 3 billion users.
That's incredible. But I don't want to gloss over the pain of a rewrite. I saw a story about some developer who ported Pokemon Showdown to Rust?
Oh, this was a saga. 100,000 lines of TypeScript ported in a month.
A month. That sounds impossibly fast.
It took 5,000 commits.
5,000. In a month. That's insane.
It was just brute force. The developer said it was constant babysitting of the AI. It would get stuck. It would fight the borrow checker. It just proves that these tools help, but they don't remove the need for that deep, painful engineering effort.
That's the reality check. I rewrote it in Rust really means I didn't see my family for 4 weeks.
Pretty much.
Which I think is a perfect transition to the culture of engineering. Because we have all these shiny tools, but the actual day-to-day experience of both building and using software feels kind of annoying right now.
It is. There's this term floating around called backseat software.
Backseat software. I think I know what this is.
Think about it. You open an app to do one thing, and what happens immediately?
A modal pops up. Hey, check out this new feature. Then a tooltip points to a button I've used 1,000 times. Then it asks me to rate the app.
Exactly. It's backseat driving your experience. It treats you like a child. And it's all driven by engagement metrics. Product managers need to show feature adoption. The movement is a call for a return to quiet software that just shuts up and lets you work.
I would pay extra for a shut-up mode on every app. But speaking of things that annoy engineers, let's talk about estimates.
Oh boy. The dreaded question. How long will this take?
There was a great piece by a staff engineer on this. Their whole argument was simple. Accurate estimation is impossible.
Because of the unknown unknowns. Software development is an act of discovery, not manufacturing.
Right. But the interesting take was why we do it. They said it's purely a political tool for management to allocate budget and resources. It has almost nothing to do with the actual engineering work.
That really resonates. So often the engineer just works backward from whatever deadline they were given anyway. You need it in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What a coincidence. My estimate is 2 weeks.
It's Parkinson's law. Work expands to fill the time allotted. And the danger there is we fall into the trap of solving problems that don't exist.
The ultimate form of procrastination. I can't build the actual feature yet. First, I need to spend 3 weeks optimizing the database schema for 1 billion users.
Even though you have 0 users, it's a way to feel productive while you're avoiding the scary, uncertain work.
Or we get tripped up by problems we thought we solved decades ago. Did you see that JavaScript date bug making the rounds?
Oh, you have to love JavaScript dates. What was it this time?
A dev tried to add 1 month to January 1st. Should be February 1st, right?
In a sane world, yes. But we live in the world of JavaScript.
We do. Because of a time zone issue, the system was reading Jan 1st as Def 31st in UTC. So when it added a month, the target date was February 31st.
A date which does not exist.
Famously does not exist. So the system, trying to be helpful, just rolled it over to March.
So in JavaScript, January plus 1 month equals March.
Yep.
That's
It's
perfect.
It really is. It shows that no matter how much AI or Rust we use, the fundamentals, time zones, calendars, they will always be there, waiting to humble us.
Time zones are the final boss of programming.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do a quick round on the big tech players. What's going on?
X, formerly Twitter, open-sourced their algorithm.
And what did we learn?
It's a pipeline, 2 systems, Thunder and Phoenix. But the main thing is that every single post is scored against 18 different probability models. Probability of a reply, a block.
It's basically running a credit score on every tweet.
It is. And they explicitly tweak those scores for things like author diversity. It's a very engineered system.
Okay, Amazon. They're going the other way.
Yeah.
More cuts.
Yeah, another 16,000 corporate jobs gone. It's all part of this pivot to efficiency and AI. The era of big tech bloat seems to be officially over.
And what's Google DeepMind up to?
They're letting people play God. It's a thing called Project Genie. You give it a prompt and it generates an infinite, playable, interactive, virtual world, like a whole platformer game on the fly.
So we've got AI writing our code, AI browsing the web for us, and now AI building video games to distract us from the fact that our code is probably broken.
It's the beautiful circle of life.
So to wrap this up, we've got vibe coding, a local first rebellion, Rust taking over the world, and we are all still getting tripped up by JavaScript dates. It feels like the whole industry is in this weird, chaotic transition.
It really is. But if I can leave you with one final thought, it's a quote I saw that really stuck with me. Doing the thing is doing the thing.
Meaning what?
Meaning we spend so much time talking about the thing, debating tools, worrying about estimates, planning. None of that is the work. The work is the execution, shipping the thing. Even if it's imperfect AI code, even if the estimate was a total guess.
I love that. Stop planning to do the thing and just Do the thing.
Exactly.
Ship the product. And
Seconds.
maybe just double check your time zones before you do any math with dates.
Always check the time zone.
That's all the time we have. Go restart your smart appliances, and we'll catch you next Tuesday.
Spoken Tech for your ears.